Okay, I am going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. This is the May 21st, 2026 study session for the Highline College Board of Trustees. Let the minutes reflect that present we have Trustee Bowman, Trustee Johnson, and myself, Trustee Swenson. We are going to start with our first discussion topic, which is a commencement update with our Associate Dean Robleski. There you go. Hi, welcome. Thank you for being here.
Okay, good morning. Thank you all.
Morning.
Thank you all for welcoming me here today. My name is Izzy Robleski. I currently serve as the Associate Dean for Student Life here at Highline College. One of my roles is also being the chair of our commencement. So I'm here to give you all a little bit of an update and important information for our commencement coming up in a short 28 days from right now. So we will be back at Showware Center in Kent, Washington, with a ceremony at 5 p.m. Important information for the board. Our stage crew call, the folks who will be on stage, will be at 12 p.m. There will be a suite set aside for the Board of Trustees and Executive Cabinet to have space and time to relax and rest throughout the day. And then we will have a rehearsal around 12:30 p.m. for our stage crew to walk through procession and handing out the diplomas and all things like that. We will then have a reception that's starting at 3:30 p.m. that you all are invited to, along with the faculty and staff who will be participating in our tunnel to welcome students. Chair Swenson, we have an expectation of 3 minutes of remarks in the commencement ceremony, and the commencement committee would like that by June 5th. So June 5th is the date that we are putting together our script. We also want to recognize that I connected with Dr. Penn yesterday, and we will be taking a moment of silence, and Dr. Penn, as interim president, will be leading the remembrance of Dr. Mosby during our ceremony. Yesterday, we had our grad fair, which was a huge success. We had over 215 future graduates stop by. We offered professional headshots. We had them pick up their cap and gown, make sure that they're registered, as well as decorate their caps, have an opportunity to record messages to loved ones that'll play before the ceremony, and a fun photo booth. Currently, we have 566 individual graduates registered for commencement. That is currently a 19% increase from where we were last year for this ceremony. So we are expecting a large amount of graduates to participate in our commencement this year. Currently, we have 566. Yes. Last year, we had about 605 show up to commencement. That is a 19% increase in RSVPs from where we were this day last year. And our commencement is a week later than it was last year. So we are expecting a lot of students and graduates to be joining us. Students will be arriving at 3:30, and the due date for their RSVP to have their name in the printed program is June 1st. So most students will RSVP by June 1st. Our house will open up for guests at 4 p.m. There is no tickets for guests to participate. This is general admission, may sit wherever they want. We have seating capacity for about 5,000, which we anticipate will meet our needs for this year. Our staff and faculty tunnel, we have 100 staff and faculty signed up to participate in our tunnel. That is only about a 2.5% decrease from last year. So we expect to have about the same numbers. And this year, due to the date of commencement being outside the faculty contract, faculty will be stipend to participate in commencement. And then any overtime eligible staff will earn overtime for being part of commencement. So that is our classified staff and our overtime exempt staff. For our commencement crew, which is the folks who help logistically and do the heavy lifting to make that happen. We have 45 out of our 52 spots filled, which is about where we were last year, and we believe that will meet our needs. We also this year will be opening volunteer opportunities through our service and mentorship engagement program for students who are not graduating to assist with commencement and see what it looks like to be part of the ceremony. Budgetarily, we sit near where we were in 2024 with slight increases due to inflation, specifically on foods, as well as access ramps that we are renting to be ADA compliant in our ceremony. I also want to share that Showware got a new sound system between the last time we were there and this time that we're there. That was our number one complaint from students, faculty, participants, is that the sound system was not good. So there's a new sound system that's been installed. We'll be doing a tech walkthrough in the first week of June to make sure that everything is set for that. Another thing we got in feedback is that students who were sitting on the floor were not able to see the Jumbotron that was above their heads. So this year we're renting a projection screen that'll go just slightly above the stage so that graduates will be able to see the global language welcome, see their friends cross the stage, as well as the captioning that we have to make that more accessible. This year, we plan to use grad roll again, which allows the name of graduates to be displayed in the bottom third of the screen, which is similar to what we did at Emerald Downs last year. We have selected our name readers this year. We will have Stephanie Ojeda Ponce, as well as Che Dawson, Josh Gersman, and Tony Garcia reading our names this year. Our student speaker has also been selected. We're really excited to have Isabel Lash be our speaker for commencement. Isabel is currently a clubs consultant in the center, and she has done an absolute fantastic job advocating at the Capitol with us, speaking at our legislative breakfast, and hopes to go on to a career being a real mover and shaker in the public policy field. Our distinguished alumni is to be announced hopefully in the next week. I was able to touch base with Tanisha, who is in charge of that process, and really excited for who we have selected. And lastly, our global language welcome will be recorded next week. And currently we have over 20 languages represented from graduates across campus. Those are the quick updates that I have for you all. I'm open to any questions. Thank you so much for listening and absorbing. And we are elated to have your support in celebrating our class of 2026. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that great update. Are there any questions? Anyone else?
Question, but Izzy, the passion you bring to this with the team is impressive. And commencement is always a fun exercise. Glad we're going back to Showware for many reasons. Being a institution of 85% BIPOC commencement graduation, the exercise itself means a lot to families. So I'm very grateful for that, and always just so impressed by how you all moderate that process. And so thank you.
Thank you. And please update the minutes to reflect that Trustee Sachet is here as well. Okay, Trustee Johnson.
Thank you so much for the presentation, Izzy. Like Trustee Bowman said, really appreciate all the details and logistics. Last year at Emerald Downs, I know that the trustees had gotten a safety sort of like informational before the ceremony around the potential if ICE was to arrive on the grounds. Being that obviously public safety concerns are still persisting in that space, will there be a similar sort of informational for trustees before this one, especially at a new location?
Yes, thank you so much for that question. We do plan to have our Director of Public Safety present during the walkthrough and the rehearsal to give any information and updates related to things specifically at Showware. David Menke has also been connecting with the staff over at Showware to make sure that we have an understanding of their practices and policy and making sure that they align with what Highline practices as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Great. Thank you for that. Any other questions? Okay, thanks so much again for that update. Now we have our presentation of the student and activities budget, and I apologize. Can you help me say your name, Thong?
That will be won't say Vitu Chad.
Got it.
Thank you. I'm gonna have to practice that one.
Just go by two.
Two, okay, two. All right, thank you. Thank you for being here.
I want to make a recommendation that instead of you standing there, because we'll do this. So if you can go over here, I think it would be better, as long as you can see what you need. That would be great. Thank you.
Okay. So first off, I would like to say good morning to our trustees, our executive cabinet, and everyone who's present here today. My name is Wongsei Vitu Chut, and I serve as the finance director of the Associated Students of Highline College, as well as the chair of the SNA Budget Committee. And today I'm very happy to present to you the proposed service and activity SNA budget for the fiscal year 2026-2027 as approved and recommended by the SNA Budget Committee. This is a budget that was that is from the students, that is approved by the students for the students. So now, just to walk you through a little bit of today's agenda, I'll start off with a quick overview about what SNA is, how the funds are allocated, our process timeline, and then I'll move on into the budget overview. I'll highlight some key changes within the budget, and then closing us off with some structural funding reforms that were implemented this year by the committee. So what are SNA funds? So SNA funds basically are generated from SNA fees, which are fees that are within the student's tuition, and they're supposed to be dedicated entirely for student life. Their purpose is to support student engagement and success beyond just the classroom. This includes funding for events, programs, field trips, conference, student employment, basically anything that enriches the student life outside of the classroom. And the sources of these fees comes from basically our full-time students, our chief program students, our international students, as well as our running start students. So yeah, next slide. Now let's take a look at governance. So basically who oversees these funds and how are the decisions being made. So the SNA funds are allocated by the SNA Budget Committee, who as you could see is, this is a student-led committee with 7 votes coming from our students and 3 that comes from staff and faculty members. This committee is responsible for reviewing all the budget requests, presentation, determining necessary adjustments, and making funding recommendations to our associate council, and then right now to our board of trustees. In addition, the committee is also responsible for making sure that our financial code is up to date and aligned with the current needs and practices. And to make any decision, we need a quorum of at least 3 students and 1 staff and faculty member with me as the chair, who's a tiebreaker. We haven't need any tie breaking yet, so I think that's a good thing. So yeah, now I will talk about centering equity within our process. Within the committee, equity has been the center of our process from way in the beginning, even before our first meeting. During the recruitment process of the student members, we were very intentional in selecting students who are not only competent, but also a reflection of the diversity within our population, our college campus population as well. So our student committee members include students who are veterans, students who are running start, students who are international, students who are returning back to school. And to further support equitable decision making, we also had an anti-bias training with Dr. Jimenez. This helped us recognize our own biases while also strengthening how we approach our funding decisions. And as a result, this year's committee has been very intentional in making sure that every funding decisions is guided by what's best supports student life and engagement on campus. So now we'll take a look at the SNA roadmap. We're currently in phase 4, as you could see. We're at our final stop right now, so hope all goes well. We got one more approval with our board of trustees. It has been approved by our associate students of Highline College, and following the approval by the board of trustees, official allocation letters will be sent out to all program budget managers, and the new budget will take into effect in July 1st. Now to the budget overview. So 5% of the SNA revenue that we are given to allocate with for the year, 5% of those goes into the ASHC contingency fund, which totals to an amount of around $118,000. These monies are overseen by our associate student government, as well as our associate council, who are basically a combination of all student leaders on campus. These funds are funds that are reserved for unforeseen events. So if student programs found like an event that they didn't plan for the previous fiscal year, they could request for a fund that will be approved by our associate student council. So this slide shows the allocation status for the year. So now I'm just going to start by reflecting on what we had for last year. We had approximately $2 million available to allocate, but the committee had to make some ends meet and approve around 2.4 million, which means that we had to pull around $400,000-ish, which is a representation of around 16% of our budget that came from reserve. And we noticed that pulling from reserve is not a very good practice. So the committee made a commitment to the Board of Trustees to reduce our reliance on reserve. And for this year, we had about 2.3 million available to allocate due to the increase of enrollment. So to ensure the growth and sustainability of all programs, the committee allocated around $2.5 million, which means that we had to pull around $159,000 from reserve. And as a result, we were able to reduce reserve spending by 62%. And the goal of the committee during the start of the year was to actually reduce reserve spending by only like 30%. So we think that this amount is very good. And looking ahead, we expect that our reliance on reserve will continue to decrease, especially with the structural funding reforms that we have implemented this year. And also just to clarify, judging off of past data, the amount that was allocated was never really used up by all the programs. So technically, we've never really had to pull from reserve, but this is just a projected number if all of the programs were to use all of the money that they were allocated for. Now let's take a look at the financial code amendment that we've made. So at the start of the year, the committee reviewed the financial code, and we've identified that there's been some gaps as there was no clear specification on which student employee positions are considered as permissible or impermissible to be funded by SNA. So we added a fourth subsection to Section 2 of Article 3, Use of Fund. And this amendment will clarify that all student employment positions must directly enhance student life, student engagement, or co-curricular learning, and must be clearly connected to a program that is not a core responsibility of the institution. And our second amendment was focused on Article 9, violation. After observing the past years that there have been cases where programs exceeded their budget by a huge amount, so the committee introduced some safeguards and accountability measures to make sure that SNA funds are being used responsibly. And under this update, we made sure that if there are any negative year-end balance, there will be a reduction to the program's next year's balance determined as appropriate by the committee. Spending more than 5% of the approved budget without valid justification would also possibly trigger a financial review or investigation. So this may lead to a change in budget managers, reduction in future allocation, or potential program suspension, which means that they're not able to request for SNA funds. And these amendments were all approved unanimously by the SNA Budget Committee. So now let's take a look at the major budget changes. So I'll start with the major increase. The programs that saw the largest increase are primarily newer programs. As new programs from last year, they start off with an initial budget of $2,000 just to see what they're able to program with. And then right now they're looking to scale up their programming. So for programs like Pantry, Juntos, and the D Center, they're currently looking to scale up their programming. Now for the dean's requests, this increase is mainly due to a reallocation from a different budget. So it's not really a new spending. Well, for Highline Promise, the committee has decided that we will no longer supplement funds for work study students as we see the nature of work study position is very different from SNA funded position. So we decided to fully fund the two student employee position that they requested. This means that we'll allow a greater flexibility for the hiring of their student employees, because not every students are eligible to be funded by work studies, but every single full-time students on campus are eligible to be funded by SNA. And as for Running Start, CLS Marketing, and the Q Center, these requests were approved based on strong performance over the past years, along with a clear plan to scale up their programming and increase their impact on student life on campus. Now let's take a look at the major decrease. So for entry advising student orientation peer connector, I'll provide more context within the next slide. But for MESA, the committee determined that the academic excellence workshop tutors are not permissible to be funded under SNA as they function as embedded tutors within academic courses. And according to the Killian guidelines, SNA funds are intended to support learning outside of the classroom. And the remaining reductions were based on fund utilization. After reviewing programs account, the committee found that there were some allocated funds that were not being utilized. And as a result, the allocation were adjusted to better reflect the actual spending. And if there are any additional needs that arises, programs are definitely encouraged to submit a contingency request that will be approved by our Associate Student Council. So now let's take a look at our structural funding reforms. So this is where I will be talking about the changes that we've made throughout the year, and I'll also talk about the entry advising that I didn't get to talk about earlier in the in the last slide. First for our peer connector within the entry advising department, the committee has decided to begin an offboarding process, which means that we will fund 2 student positions for the upcoming fiscal year, followed by a full offboarding the year after. This decision comes after a thorough review of the student employee job description, which showed that these roles are primarily administrative in nature and essential to the core operation of the entry advising department. So responsibility that includes front desk support, assisting students with accounts and CTC link setup and supporting orientation. These positions do not align with the Killian guidelines or our updated financial code, which specify that SNA funds should support student engagement and co-curricular activities outside of the standard institutional operation. Again, this is not to diminish the value of the work that they do, but rather to ensure that funding comes from the most appropriate and sustainable source moving forward. Same with our Academic Success Center, we are recommending a phased transition in funding. This would involve maintaining a current funding status for the next fiscal year, followed by a 50% reduction in the subsequent year, and then a full transition off of SNA funding the year on after. This recommendation is informed by a statewide benchmarking survey. Across the state, 6 out of 16 colleges do not fund tutoring through SNA, and 3 additional colleges are actively transitioning away from that model of funding tutors through SNA. So yeah, like I said, most importantly is that this decision is to not diminish the value of tutoring. In fact, it actually reflects how essential tutoring is to student success, retention, and academic achievement. And because of that, tutoring is best understood as a core educational function, which aligns much more closely with institutional responsibility rather than student activity funding under the Killian guidelines. And throughout this transition, the committee will do our best to work as closely as possible with the Director of Budget, Grants, and Procurement to ensure that that there is a smooth and thoughtful process with no disruptions to our students. And moving tutoring to institutional funding also provides a greater stability and flexibility, helping ensure that these services will be supported and sustained over a long period of time. So again, this is not about reducing the support, it's about strengthening how that support will be sustained over the long term. And the committee also found that there is a funding realignment opportunity that we would like to propose to our Board of Trustees to take into consideration. As currently, we believe that the institution is able to give full rights to our student athletes. And currently, I believe it's a 50-50, where the institution covers 50% while SNA funds cover the other 50, which rounds up to around $114,000. So this is an opportunity for realignment where the support could be shifted into institutional funding, which will allow $114,000 to return back to the SNA pool and be reinvested across the over 55 student life programs on campus. And that will translate to about, I would say, $2,000-ish per program. Some might need more, some might need less, but $2,000 is a lot for event programming and to increase the capacity for student engagement and events on campus. And at the same time, it also creates a more meaningful opportunity to support our student athlete, because if the students hear that they're getting a full ride coming to play for Highline, they're more likely to come and play for Highline. And so that will mean stronger recruitment. And if students know that their tuition is going to be paid for, they're also less likely they're less likely to leave. So that will also improve retention. So we hope that this approach will allow us to maximize impact across the entire campus while strengthening both student life and the student athlete support. So lastly, to close this off, as our former finance director from last year, Teresa, has described last year as the year of sustainability, we hope to build on that foundation by defining this year as the year of reform. This means benchmarking our practices, strengthening a funding structures that could outlast the generation of S&A committee to come. And our goal is to strengthen campus life through intentional investment by making strategic changes in allocation. We are reinvesting S&A fund into student-driven programs and engagement while also improving alignment with our governing guidelines, which is the Killian guidelines and the financial code. And at the same time, we are continuing on having discussions and conversations around accountability and developing processes to better track and evaluate the effectiveness of funded programs, making sure that the resources that are allocated are being used both responsibly and impactfully. And we hope that this approach will help us allow student life programs to be prioritized, supported, and positioned to thrive, which will further strengthen our campus community as a whole. So thank you. I just want to give a quick shout out, gratitude, and appreciation to all of our S&A committee member. Shout out to our student leaders for their dedication and work because I mean they're balancing classes and committee work. This is the student members that we're down to meet on finals week to discuss budgeting decisions. So definitely want to shout them out. Shout out to Jasmine, Teresa, Ted, Artem, Riley, Joyce, Jen, Shan. Thank you to our faculty and staff as well for their time, support, and commitment. Thank you to Kathy, who this was her last year on the committee. Shout out to Yara, who's right there with us. Shout out to Rakitha, and also thank you to our staff ex officio for their leadership and guidance. Thank you to Tuan. Thank you to Izzy, Gio, and Marco as well. Yeah, this is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll open this up for questions.
Thank you. That was awesome. And I've got a budget process coming up in June if you want to come take care of my budget. That was really, really fantastic. And I appreciated hearing the thought process and justification for those things that you were seeing change or items that were barriers. Can you just let everybody know what's your position for ASHC and what are you studying as well?
I serve as the finance director for the Associate Students of Highline College, and I'm currently studying business, but I'm planning to transfer into business analytics for my bachelor's.
That's great. Well, I'm sure you're going to do really well in that. Appreciate your very, very thorough presentation. I actually did just have a question about the athletics. If we could go back to that briefly, I just want to understand a little bit more if we have. Yeah, I think we have time to do it. So could you tell us a little bit about, this would be a total of 114,000 that is currently where, and it will be moved to S&A from what budget?
Within S&A, and we want to transition that funding to institution so that.
Oh, got it. It's going that way. Okay.
So that it could be an institutional responsibility to bring the students to come play for Highline, but S&A will be paying for the teams, the materials and supplies and stuff.
Wow. Okay. Thank you for that clarification. And then will it be able to be earmarked on an annual basis if you decide to make this change so that you're assured that that is exactly where it's going to? So it'll have its own line item kind of in the general budget process then to assure that when you transfer the money on a yearly basis, it's marked for that purpose. Is that right?
For clarification, I'm going to comment, but for clarification, are you asking about the 114 that's moving to the operating budget?
Yeah.
That would be incumbent on Dr. Fama and on Marco as part of that committee. I'm sure he's had some conversations. So that would be the process there. And then because the two would be separate, I mean, at the S&A, what remains, those other funds that could be in support of would be tracked by the S&A committee.
Okay.
And Izzy want to respond as well? We need you on a microphone.
I was just going to say right now, S&A pays for that gap that the school doesn't pay for. So the scholarships that we give to athletes to make up that second half of tuition that's not paid by the institution is coming directly from student fee money. So right now, students have half their tuition covered by the institution, and then through SNA money, they get the other half of their tuition. So if SNA was not paying the other half of students' tuition, we would be able to redistribute that to impact a much larger group of students and as well as support our student athletes in more meaningful ways.
Okay. Are there other questions? Okay. I think you did a really great job.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you too. He will be crossing the stage is what I understand. And so, yes. Yes, so we will have another opportunity. He's like, do you know something I don't know? He means crossing stage. And so I thank you so much too. Just one more thing I want to know. You're transferring, where to, what institution are you transferring? Seattle University is what he said. He's not on mic, so sharing that with everyone. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, our next agenda item is on board practice. So we wanted to talk about the chair and vice chair terms, and this was an item that was included in the pre-material as well. So hopefully everybody got to take a quick look at that. But we have, right now we have language around the role of the chair that is out of step with the state language in terms of the appointment of a chair and the terms that a chair can serve. And, full transparency, we're having this conversation right now because we have a potential situation where we may have some change in the need for the chair position in the coming year. And so we really need to take a look at this policy and decide, whether or not we're going to update this. And I think that the advisement from our AAG is that we do so. But Michael, maybe I'll also ask you to just speak to that if you wouldn't mind it as well. But the language that we are looking at, we have a couple changes that we would suggest here. There's a suggestion of striking some language as well as some additional language that's being added. I'm happy to read these sections just for everybody's benefit. If that's helpful. So number 12, the chair appointment shall serve a term of 1 year commencing in July of each year. The suggestion is that we're adding something along the lines of the chair may be reappointed to successive 1 year terms. What was suggested to be struck was the office of the chair shall rotate consecutively through each sitting board member under guidelines of the board practice. And I'll come back to that in just a moment. But there's a suggestion that we also add number 14, the chair or vice chair shall serve as aide in the onboarding of new trustee members in September or October and serve as a mentor to new trustees for up to 6 months.
I'm gonna, Chair Swenson, I'm watching body language.
There's a typo. This
Okay.
was supposed to say the chair may be reappointed up to
Okay.
3 successive 1 year terms to align with the SBCTC guidance. I missed the 3 there. I don't want anyone
Okay. Yeah.
serving 10 years of chairdom.
And just to know, right, this is as it warrants. I will say, since we're just talking about that, Michael, I do think it is important that we do rotate the position. So is that not included in the state language? Because otherwise, so the current language that we had speaks to the fact that the office of the chair shall rotate consecutively through each sitting board member. And I think that is the practice we have had. I also think it is an important practice. And so I have a question about striking that language to be in alignment with the state, or is the hope that we have the exact same language, or that we allow for the flexibility that the state has in their language while still deciding whether or not we keep that piece of things? Because I do think that's important. It also kind of clears up any maybe undue disagreement between board members on who's going to take the chair spot from year to year. We have not had that situation, just to be clear, but I could see that happening, in a different mix or a different time. So I'm curious as to if there is guidance on whether or not we actually need to strike that last line. Okay, okay. I guess my preference would be that we actually keep that last line so that it still clearly defines the fact that it's a rotation, right? And unless there's some specific reason the chair is going to serve another consecutive term, that otherwise it is a rotation.
I have, and I'm looking at what is presented here, and based on what our AAG shares, if we keep the language that's out and we move that up, the last line being that the chair may be reappointed up to 3, just like, I would switch that.
Okay.
That's a,
So take that chair, the new chair language and put it at the end.
Yes.
Actually.
because that would be the, in my opinion, the anomaly or what have you.
Yeah,
So,
it's a special circumstance. Danielle, did you catch that?
Yeah, give us just 1 second.
Okay. Okay. Can I continue reading through the other suggestions? Okay. So again, 14 was the chair or vice chair shall serve as aide in the onboarding of new trustee members in September/October and serve as a mentor to new trustees for up to 6 months. And then under role of vice chair, the vice chair shall, 1, perform the duties of the chair during the chair's absence or incapacity and such other duties as the board or chair may designate from time to time. 2, the vice chair shall serve a term of 1 year commencing July of each year, and then some new additional language here. The vice chair may be reappointed to successive 1-year terms, not to exceed 3 consecutive terms. And 3, the chair or vice chair shall serve as aide in the onboarding of new trustee members in September/October and serve as a mentor to the new trustees for up to 6 months. So those are the suggested changes, I think, to bring us into alignment with the state language on this and to also allow us for the potential scenario where we might have to have a chair serve more than 1 term. Yeah.
I had a question. I wondered about the language as it pertains to the onboarding of new trustee members, only because of my experience coming in, being appointed in March. And when I went to the new trustee orientation through the State Association of College Trustees, it appeared to me that there were people who had been appointed, sporadically throughout the year. As far as their terms. And so I wondered if the language could perhaps be adjusted to reflect upon appointment in lieu of like specific months. Just being in that the governor's office, they oversee appointments of dozens of state, commissions aside from community colleges. So that just kind of stood out to me.
Are there any concerns about an update like that on appointment?
So I think we have a couple of things. So 1, we can absolutely do upon appointment. Just for context, technically this is when, like, our bylaws state that trustees are onboarded in October. It states that the chair and vice chair and committee appointments, which we're not currently in alignment with this board practice, are elected in July. Or elected in June and start their appointment in July, and that new trustees then onboard in October, because that's technically supposed to be how it aligns with the governor's office.
This is how
But what you're suggesting would not contradict alignment with the governor's office. It just means that when another office outside our control isn't on time, then yeah, so I think that makes sense. Going back to the question about rotation, just looking at the RCW, it actually does not state anything about rotation. It states that a re-election needs to happen. So it states that both chair and vice chair are elected annually. It doesn't give any information about a rotation, and neither does SBCTC guidance.
Okay. And is the suggestion then that we that we adhere strictly to that?
Wanting to, I want to protect our AAG from giving legal advice in a public meeting. So I'm going to say that since we're not voting on this today, we could probably consult about that outside of the study session. And update the language for
Okay.
motion for next month when it's on the agenda to vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are there other questions or suggestions? Thank you for that, Ryan, appreciate that. Are there questions or suggestions? Anything of concern from either?
No, I asked
Bowman?
Danielle in 2020 if I could fight for the chair to have 2 years at least. And she said, well, maybe one day.
Liked it.
Right. She said she liked it. I feel like this is appropriate for many reasons. Right now, we're getting ready to engage a presidential search. There's so many things that need to happen and that are happening alongside the board, specifically to the advancement of the institution. So I think this is appropriate as long as the board holistically will vote. And I think that language is already there. So I'm game.
Trustee Johnson, do you have any questions or comments?
I don't. This all makes sense to me. Thank you.
Okay.
I only have one other comment, and again, if you're okay with moving Danielle in that section that's highlighted to make the last line, the chair may be reappointed, to make that the last sentence as opposed to being in the center where it is.
If we keep that.
If we
language,
keep
yeah,
that
yeah,
language,
sure.
yes, thank you.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of the situation abnormal piece at the end. Okay. All right. I think that in that case, I appreciate the conversation and the work that's been done on that. Danielle, thank you for taking a run at making sure that we're updating that language as well. And we will bring this back during the next meeting for a vote. And so we'll be circulating any additional information between now and then, and it'll be available in the packet. Okay. Budget planning report by Dr. Pham, but I think he's not here today, right? Can I see
He's
that?
virtual.
Oh, he's virtual. Okay. Hi, Dr. Pham. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Good morning.
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 Good morning. Yeah, I am actually a private citizen on vacation today, so I'll defer to Acting Vice President Marco Lopez to do the presentation, if that will be okay.
Absolutely.
Let me just look it up very quick. Oh, sorry. I honestly thought that Michael was gonna do the presentation. Um, okay. Yeah. Thank you and good morning, everybody. So currently we have completed our first 3 quarters for the year. We are looking at continuous growth in our enrollment and good management of our expenses. Our revenues were up in most categories, including state allocation, tuition, international student programs. And overall total revenue is about 7.5% higher than last year from the same period. Our expenses are about close to 10% higher than last year compared to previous years because we had salary increases, inflation. There are a few things that are really impacting how our expenses are this year compared to last year. We noted that we met with Trustee Ekstrom last week. We had a note on our running start showing that we were at 7.4 million compared to $8 million from last year. That's a decrease of 6.7%. However, we identified like an entry error, and we will submit an adjustment for this quarter. So we are actually ahead of last year. So that will change the numbers for this year. Our total revenue as of the end of March, we're at $75,972,035 with total expense of $68,772,388. The only thing that's a bit lower compared to last year when it comes to expenses is our student aid and grants. But that could also be due to timing. A lot of students might get award in April, and so that number might go up. But we're just taking a look at those numbers. Our foundation contracts are higher compared to last year, but that's also a timing situation because sometimes we pay them quarterly, sometimes we just make payments every 6 months. At the end of the year, we end up always paying the same amount. It's just how they are paid and when they are paid. But overall, our net income shows that we're about 7.2 million ahead. Revenue is higher than our expenses. This number does not reflect or does not mean that by the end of the year, this is going to be the final number because most of our revenue is already in. So basically, April, May, and June, we will be incurring more expenses than money coming in. Enrollments that we collect this month will basically be moved to the month of July because it will be part of summer quarter, which is part of the new fiscal year. But we feel that the college is in a very good financial position, and we're just happy with the numbers and results we're seeing.
Thank you for that. And I just want to acknowledge Trustee Ekstrom as well, because I know he spent time going through this with Dr. Pham and appreciate his leaning into that. He and I had a conversation about this in advance of the meeting last week. So appreciated the opportunity to chat through what he heard in that meeting. Are there questions or comments about this? Any questions or comments about what's been presented? Trustee Johnson, do you have questions about what's been presented? Okay. Well, appreciate that then. That was less time than we thought it would take, but we're happy to see that everything that we're in a really strong financial position right now. We really appreciate your work and the work of Dr. Pham to make sure that we're always good stewards of our funding. And it's fantastic to see, obviously, enrollment numbers rising. It's just really heartening to see that. So I will bring that discussion to a close. Any closing comments or thoughts, Dr. Pham?
I really want to say thank you very much to acting VP Marco because it shows that you can convey a lot in a few words rather than how I could just go on and on and on and on and never end it. So thank you very much, Marco.
Anytime, Michael.
Dr. Pham, did you plan for Travis to be out during this presentation?
Yes, he and I actually we did send emails. So yeah, thank
All
you.
right, thank you very much. Okay, we are going to go on to proposed action item A, which is a vote in general session The language is in the packet that everybody received. We have motion language before us. And I wanted to just take a couple minutes for us to review this. This is on delegation of authority for policy development. And the motion language, if anybody feels compelled to make the motion, please let me know. But the motion language, just to review, is board action item 1, approval of delegation of authority to president. And the motion is that in accordance with RCW 28B-.10.528 and 28B.50.140, and except for those specifically reserved by the Board of Trustees as stated in policy 1050, the board moves to delegate all powers and duties to carry out the administration operation of Highline College to the president or interim president of Highline College. And then there's some supporting documentation as well that talks through policy 1050. So I just wanted to take a couple minutes and make sure that people are clear on what we are taking up today. I don't know if there's anybody from the team here that wants to talk about this from your perspectives. I think it's probably pretty straightforward, but is there anything to note?
I would say we haven't made any changes since last month's discussion. Documentation still maintains the same, so nothing new to add.
Okay, great.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the proposed language.
Okay, we'll have you, I'll highlight you in the general session. Do you have the language before you? I can pass it over to you when it comes. Okay, unless we have a printout. I don't know if we have a printout somewhere, but anyway, I'll give you my computer when we get to that point, and thank you for your interest in doing that. I'll put your name next to it. Okay, any other comments or questions on that? Okay. We are going to then move into executive session. We have 2 executive session topics for today. The first is off-cycle tenure review, and then the second is some consultation with our AAG. I want to just ask really quickly, do you think half an hour is how much time do you expect that you might? 20 minutes? Okay. So we'll add 20 minutes. I'll tack on maybe 10 more for the other discussion. So we'll give it 30 minutes to begin with and come back at 10:30. Does that work?
Yeah, if it's different individuals, so you'll need to stop that executive session.
Okay, so we'll start with 20 then. Okay.
So for this first executive session, we will have the Board of Trustees, Dr. Penn, Dr. Ezionu, and AAG Hemker. For our virtual attendee, Jesse, you should have a separate link in the body of your Outlook email for executive session. So just give me a moment to pop across the hall and get that Zoom link open for you. For our public attendees, this room will remain open. However, we will turn off the camera and mute the microphone and pause the recording for the duration of the executive sessions. If you don't want to stick around, since that's all we have left for the study session agenda, you're welcome to log off and rejoin us at 11 a.m. for general session.
I'm going to go ahead and bring the meeting to order. It's May 21st, 2026, and this is the general session for the Highline College Board of Trustees. Let the minutes reflect that we have Trustee Sashri, Trustee Bowman, Trustee Johnson, and myself, Trustee Swenson, participating today. And we are going to just, I think, take a moment here. I wanted to just take a minute before we get into our agenda today to allow for the trustees to share any thoughts that they might want to share on the passing of Dr. Mosby. And I want to take a couple minutes to just to remember him. We are we are deeply saddened by the passing of Dr. John Mosby. Dr. M, as many of us called him, was a leader who walked his path with unwavering passion and purpose. His vision and energy shaped the direction of Highline, and his presence leaves an enduring mark on all who had the privilege to work alongside him. He led not only with intellect and determination, but with heart, bringing a sense of meaning and intention to every decision and interaction. At the core of his leadership was a profound and unrelenting commitment to student success and well-being. Okay, I'm going to try and get through this. Dr. Mosby believed deeply in the promise of every student and worked tirelessly to cultivate an environment where each individual could discover their potential and thrive. His dedication to Highline extended far beyond its programs or physical spaces. He cared deeply about its people. Every student, faculty member, staff person, and community member who crossed his path felt seen, valued, and supported by him. This was his gift, his ability to lead an institution while never losing sight of the individuals who give it life. This Board of Trustees, each of us coming into service during his tenure, was deeply honored to call him our leader. His impact reached far beyond the campus, time and time again, in conversations across the community and the country. When people learned I served as a trustee here, they would speak of Dr. M with genuine admiration and gratitude. I am truly grateful that I had the privilege of knowing him, not only as a colleague, but as a friend, someone whose wisdom, warmth, and integrity left a lasting impression on me personally. Dr. M's legacy lives on in the countless lives he uplifted and inspired, and in the enduring strength of this institution. Highline College stands stronger because of his leadership and his spirit, and he will continue to guide us, calling us forward to continue in his service with vision, courage, and compassion, and unwavering commitment to our institution. So just want to say thank you to him, and obviously a very emotional moment for me. But I would just welcome our other trustees to share any thoughts that they would like to at this time. Jesse, go ahead.
Well, first of all, Chair Swinson, Trustee Bowman, rest of our trustee team, Highline community. I wish I could be there in person. I want to first say I met Dr. Mosby in 2017. I was running for office in Federal Way for City Council, and we were at a Chamber of Commerce luncheon. And I remember entering the room. I was probably 26 years old at the time, feeling very uncomfortable, very nervous, very anxious. And he was the only person in that room that made me felt like I belonged and made me feel comfortable. He walked up to me, introduced himself, asked who I was, a little bit about my story. And I just remember from that moment on, every room that Dr. Mosby entered, he made you feel like you belonged there. And he is somebody that I'm proud to call a dear friend, truly an angel, and truly a warm person that cared about the Highline community, cared about the community in general. He cared about people. And to the moment where we got to walk across the stage last year at Emerald Downs for commencement, I got to push him up the ramp. I could see in his eyes that he knew that this may be one of the last times he got to do that. And I'm really, really thankful and grateful that I got the opportunity to be with him on stage last June as he gave his final address at a commencement. And he's just someone that truly inspired you. I'll do a funny story. I got to, we attended the same barber, Lamont in Federal Way. And I'd always ask him, what are you doing going to the barber shop? You know, you don't got that much hair. And he said, I got to keep my beard lined up like you. But he, again, just truly somebody that made you laugh, made you feel welcome, made you feel like you belong. And I'm just so grateful to have known him. I want to give my prayers and thoughts out to his sister, his nephew, all of his family back in California, and all of his family here, because we truly are family to him here in the Highline community. And I'm definitely sad, but I know that he's in a better place. And Dr. Mosby up there, job well done. That you are someone that truly was an angel here on earth. So thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you.
Dr. John Mosby, phenomenal man, brilliant man, but always led with the brightness of relationship over brilliance. Love the institution. I don't know if you know this, but he always dreamed to be a college president. That's all he wanted to do. And he accomplished that dream as the first African-American president of this college. And you all have heard my story. I pastor in the community, and we've been giving away backpacks and graphing calculators and pencils and school supplies to students for so many years. I understood that when those same kids that we served began adulting, they were coming to Highline College, and I wanted to be here so that they could see a trusted face. But I equally wanted to be an African-American man supporting another African-American man leading a phenomenal institution, and I wanted to be on his team. And it became less about that and more about the essence of relationship and brotherhood and building and furthering the legacy of this institution. He loved each of you individually as people, not just as tenured professionals. He loved you as people. And he would come to the board meetings. Sometimes he missed the barber, obviously, but that was okay because he was here and he was present. Even down to his days of not being able to be fully, he wasn't fully in capacity wasn't his, he wasn't able to do all he was doing at other times. But he was still present, and his presence was bright. Knowledgeable of higher ed at another level. So I just don't want us to see his frailty and see that as a impediment to his knowledge of higher ed and college. I mean, his acumen was at another level. And so he will be missed. His leadership will never be replaced. And whoever follows him will just carry the legacy on because he is irreplaceable. Thank you.
As one of the newest trustees, I have probably spent the least time with Dr. Mosby. However, through my work capacity, I would, be with him on different workforce development calls. I got to ask him a little bit more when I was interested in applying for this position as a trustee. And he was just so proud of this community and the students. And he raved, and he also showed a tremendous amount of respect and admiration for the board of trustees. And he had mentioned to me that trustees here, lead with grace, with dignity. And that's something that, I want to follow through that legacy. So I am so grateful to have met with him. And he was still so attuned to the college, even when he was not feeling well. I mean, he would take my calls, and he was literally in the hospital room. He would tell me, "Don't tell anybody," But I just know that how strong commitment, and I mean, he's why I wanted to serve here on the board.
Thank you for allowing us to start with that. Just appreciate the opportunity to hear from everybody. So thank you for that. Okay. We're going to go ahead and move into our normal course of the agenda here, and we're going to start with approval of our minutes. So we have approval of the minutes from our regularly scheduled meeting of April 16th, 2026. Is there a motion? And a second? I'm going to call for the, is there any discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed with nay, and no abstentions? Okay, the meeting minutes are approved. We're now going to go into opportunity for public comment. And do we have any signed up today? Yes.
So I don't actually have names because there was a change in last minute, but Lisa Vosa was coordinating with Kara Stewart on some Thunderword representatives to be here. So we have 3 minutes. And generally, I'm mentioning this out loud because I know you guys are both new to public comment. Generally, the board doesn't answer questions during that time or respond, but if you can take this microphone.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kara Stewart, and I'm the faculty advisor for the Thunderword, our school newspaper. And I brought with me one of my all-star students, Evelyn Russell here. And we're just here to talk up a little bit some of the things that we've been working on for the past couple of years, and mostly just some really cool highlights we wanted to share with you guys. So one, not only have we increased our readership over 300% in the last 3 years, under our leadership, we've also launched some new programs. And one of the ones that we are most proud of is having our own podcast as a way to share news in different formats and giving students different opportunities. So Evelyn is our main host of our podcast, and so I'm going to let her talk just very briefly about what she feels like she's accomplished this year and what we bring to Highline.
So I was able to turn the podcast into both audio and visual for our student body going forward. This is something we're really excited about. It's a way to engage people kind of on all fronts of media. It's also something that I want to do with my career going forward. So having that practical experience while I'm still in an educational setting is just, I can't even put words to it, but I've had the opportunity to interview multiple faculty members while on the podcast, highlighting their careers and accomplishments through that. We've also had the opportunity to increase our team. So we have audio and visual editors and production behind it too, which has been incredible using the resources that we have here at Highline and then hopefully expanding those in the future.
And Evelyn wouldn't say this about herself, but I'm going to brag about her. Not only is her, podcast really made something cool for Highline to share, but she also is working towards a career in podcasting, at which she created her own podcast and submitted it to the NPR National Student Podcast Challenge, of which she was a top 10 finalist. The only 2-year school representative in the top 10 finalists was right here. So it's cool to go on the NPR page and see Highline College's logo and what we're doing there. And because of the opportunities we're able to give our students, a really cool thing is we've had 2 students from the Thunderword specifically get accepted just recently to the UW Journalism and Public Interest Communication program, which is a very highly competitive program. Not just because of what they've done here, they've obviously had great academic accomplishments and things like that, but because of a lot of the opportunities at the paper and the podcast and things, the visibility that it's giving both our school and these students. So if you want to talk just a little bit about the UW acceptance.
Yeah, so they let us know at orientation that they only had 3 transfer students into the program. This is the only quarter that they admit any transfer students at all out of a total of 17 students. 2 of those were from Highline. Yeah. Yeah, and the other was from Seattle University. So the only 2 were me and our managing editor, Mavry. And then they also let us know that they received, I think it was 3 times the amount of applications this quarter. So I think it was close to 100, something like that. And yeah, we were the only 3 to get in the only quarter that they let in transfer students.
So we just wanted to come up here to say a few things that we're doing that we're, being recognized both with, college admittance, which is the point, getting people onto bigger and better things. And we're really proud of getting just 2-year school representation, both nationally and within different programs that are really competitive and hard to get to. And that's all based upon the opportunities that Highline gives our students, opening up these new opportunities with the paper, with partnerships with multimedia, all sorts of things. So we just wanted to bring that to your guys' attention. So thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you for coming and sharing that. Oh, Daniel, one more? Sure. Okay, okay, come on up.
Hello. It's working?
Yep.
Okay, there it is. Hi, my name is April Kostikov. I'm the program manager of Achieve at Highline College. And I'm Franny. I'm a 2nd-year student at Highline College. And we would like to invite Board of Trustees to Capstone. which is happening on June 8th from 3 to 6 in Building 8 on the first floor. Capstone is a celebration for graduating Achieve students, where we will be presenting our final portfolios and talk about our experience at Highline. We will also be presenting awards to Highline staff and faculty who have significantly supported Achieve students this year. We are excited to announce this year's awards are going to Super Staff, Public Safety, Fabulous Faculty, Benjamin Bates, Visual Communication, Coolest Coach, Steve, and Physical Education, Perfect Partner, George Babcock, and Library Technology Services. We are so grateful for your support and hard work.
We also wanted to give an extra shout out to our magical mentor, Doug Avila Castro from Sociology, who has been a really great partner to the Achieve students this year. So thank you to all of those staff and faculty who have been supporting our students this year. And thank you for listening. And we hope to see you at Capstone on June 8th.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the updates. And I just have to say, I don't know if I've ever shared this, but that we had an Achieve presentation a couple of years back, and it was actually what helped me realize that my own child was having challenges. And so we ended up getting him tested after that and finding that he has dyslexia. So I just want to say we appreciate so much the updates that you come and share with us. And it has real practical, real world impacts on us as well. So just really appreciate it.
Yeah. I just want to say something about Franny. So our speaker is graduating this year and she's already employed. So way to go, Franny.
Love it. Thank you. Okay, we are going to move into our standing reports, and we're going to actually have Sangeeta go first. If you're still there, Sangeeta, I know you have a class to run to, so please go ahead with your report. Sangeeta, are you available? I wonder if she'd step away. Okay, if she comes back, we'll have her go ahead. So we'll go on to HCEA in that case. Dr. Avila Castro, please join us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I feel very blessed to be recognized for that work. I'm gonna try and make sure I continue to earn that. And I just working with the students from Achieve is enough. So thank you so much for that. Wow, it's a lot to say today, and none of it's really that great, but I just wanted to recognize Dr. Mosby. I was just thinking about back in 2022 when we had a interesting contract negotiation period there where things got kind of fun. And some of you might know that I'm kind of a passionate advocate for membership as a union leader here at the college. And I do remember sitting in orientation with Dr. Bryce and Aaron Modica, who are two folks in the sociology department. I'm sure many of you know who they are. Just amazing instructors here. And we were kind of sitting in our own little corner, sort of doing our thing. And in some ways, we don't always feel like we belong ourselves. And I was thinking about the message about Dr. Mosby and how it is that the way that he moves through the world makes folks feel like they belong. And he kind of came over to our little corner in the table, a little corner where we were sitting at the table. And he sat down with us. He put his plate on the table and he started to eat and hang out with Dr. Bryce and Aaron and myself. And I was like, okay, so I'm in the middle of this kind of heated negotiation here. Stuff is getting interesting. And Dr. Mosby kind of sat down with us and he put his hand on my back and he said, Doug, I just want to thank you for all the hard work you put in to these negotiations. And it's not lost on me that work makes Highline a better place. That's just the kind of person that he was. No matter where you're sitting in the institution, he recognized your contribution and your humanity. So I just wanted to bring that story up to the surface in case folks didn't know the kind of stuff that I always tell my students, it's not just what you believe, it's also your methodology. It's how you interact with the world, not just what beliefs you occupy, so to speak. The methodology matters, and that's something that I always remembered about Dr. Mosby. I just wanted to give that story out in case folks didn't know. So thanks for the opportunity to speak today. We're closing in at the end of spring quarter and preparing for commencement. Faculty continue to work in their shared governance roles, commit themselves to service to the college and our students, all while facing unprecedented challenges impacting higher ed. Specifically, faculty continue to struggle to manage the workload impact of AI. They're constantly trying to adjust their curriculum and assessments to try and keep pace with the rapid innovation of AI and the normalization of its use by students. This is something that continues to come up, and it feels relentless, and faculty are doing their best to make it work, but it's been a struggle. And for much of our faculty, the impacts of AI don't stop at workload issues. These impacts also confront us as ethical challenges and challenges to the integrity of our academic disciplines themselves. It's HCEA's belief that the AI issue has the potential to create significant tension between students and their instructors and between administration and faculty. And unless we find a way to collaboratively address the impacts of AI, such that these ethical concerns and workload challenges faculty face are reconciled with the learning needs of our students, the AI issue could pose a significant risk to Highline's ability to effectively carry out its mission. I don't say this lightly, but it's a deep concern facing faculty at this moment. That said, HCEA does appreciate the willingness of the administration to work with us to try and solve this and other issues facing the college. Currently, HCEA and HC admin are working together to address workplace safety issues caused by some deteriorating buildings, ensure faculty safety, security, and academic freedom in relation to national level changes. We do appreciate VP Izanu's open door and thoughtful approach to faculty issues, and we hope the good relationship we have built will result in meaningful outcomes that allow for faculty to do their best work with students. My predecessor, Dr. Payton, always liked to end these reports on a more positive note. So I think it's good to extend that tradition, and here's my attempt at doing so. Our members look forward to commencement this year, and we're reminded this is often an event where we can see the impact we've had on our students, their families, and communities. Let this year's commencement event be that and more. Let it be an inspiration for all of us, faculty, admin, and staff, to do the kind of work that is worthy of celebrating. And at the end of the day, that work is about creating a world where our students, their families, their communities, and their humanity can flourish. Let's keep Highline a place where that work can be done. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, I realize that we skipped over, thank you, Danielle, our action items. So I'm going to pause standing reports for just a moment and go back to that. We have one action item today to consider, and that's action item A, delegation of authority for policy development. And want just here, I'm going to pull it up. Okay, is there a motion?
I would like to make a motion. I would like to make a motion to approve the delegation of authority to president in accordance with RCW 28B.10.528 and 28B.50.140, and except for those specifically reserved by the Board of Trustees as stated in Policy 1050, the board moves to delegate all powers and duties to carry out the administration and operation of Highline College to the president or interim president of Highline College.
Thank you. There's been a motion. Is there a second? Is there any discussion? Okay, I'll call the question. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed with nay? Any abstentions? The motion passes. Thank you. Okay, we will return to standing reports. Oh, there you go. Okay, Sangeeta, please go ahead with Faculty Senate's update.
Good morning, Board of Trustees. Thank you for this opportunity to speak. As Trustee Johnson noted, Dr. Mosby was an extraordinarily warm and welcoming individual, and the Senate really appreciated that about him, as well as his eagerness to engage with the Senate and how he helped usher in a new culture at Highline. He will be missed. I'd also like to share some Senate updates with you. The Senate passed changes to the business technology degree. The Senate Curriculum Committee continues to work with the Instruction Cabinet on a new program approval process and timeline. Some of our recent constituent concerns, faculty are a bit worried about new AI audio recording devices being used by students in the classroom without instructor permission. Also, they continue to have concerns about the lengthy time for AP and other transfer credits approval at Highline College. We continue to be interested in the work of the Financial Aid Advisory Committee. As the impact of AI on faculty and students is a huge concern, we've invited chairs of the various AI work group subcommittees to talk to us about their work. We've had Dr. Zanu come speak to us at the Senate and have had a Q&A period with her. We appreciate the openness of these discussions given the big changes that we keep confronting at Highline. Next academic year will be a big one for the Senate as the revised AADTA has been approved at the state level. And a massive project for us going forward will be to figure out how to best involve faculty in the determination of how to implement the revised AADTA at Highline, as we have some very tough choices to make going forward. There'll be a big change in the Senate next year as we will have 9 new senators out of 10. Again, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Sangeeta, for being here with us today. Okay, we'll go on to Washington Public Employees Association. We have a representative? Okay. Will you share your name?
Yeah, good morning. My name is Sheena Pennell, and I'm a WPEA shop steward and AA3 for Arts and Humanities. The union is currently gearing up for our local bargaining of the 2027 to 2029 contract, the first session of which is Thursday, May 28th. We had our training session on Tuesday, the 19th, and that had some very valuable information on communication and the process of how our new collaborative bargaining model will work and give us a chance to meet with management in a slightly less formal setting. And we look forward to a productive bargaining season. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Associated Students of Highline College, Jasmine. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Jasmine, and I'm the president of ASHC. I hadn't prepared anything for this, but I'd like to say a word about Dr. Mosby. I never had a chance to meet him, but I've only heard good things about him. From what I hear, he was very dedicated and well-loved. And the first thing I noticed when I opened the link to his obituary yesterday is that he was younger than my father. My father turned 55 yesterday. And I just wish I got to have one conversation with him so I could get a piece of the knowledge that Trustee Bowman has told us that he had. So yeah, not to make this about me, but it's very sad that he left so many people that loved him and cared about him. Now on to my report. I'll begin with the amendments made to the Constitution and bylaws on April 29th. The Council voted to add a section to Article 10 of the Constitution that is about the application process, and Section 3 now reads, applicants must have enrolled in credit-bearing courses for at least 3 quarters. A subsection was added to Article 5 of the bylaws, that is, requirements for office, and Section 2, subsection A reads, a student applying for either the president or vice president position must be able to provide a record of enrollment at Highline College for at least 3 quarters. These changes were made to ensure that applicants have had enough time to engage with students and be familiar with their needs. The language used was specifically to ensure that every student still has a chance, or rather isn't prohibited from applying on the basis of what quarter they started at Highline. Next, we'll talk about ASHC selection. The ASHC selection committee has identified a president, that's Ted Nender, and vice president Artem Hubko for the academic year 2026 to 2027, and they were ratified yesterday on the 20th of May. The process for identifying a finance director and speaker of caucus is still underway and should be concluded by May the 18th, the 28th. I'm so sorry. SNA, the proposed budget for services and activities was presented to the Board of Trustees during the study session earlier today, so the SNA committee will be waiting for their feedback before their job is officially done. After interviews were conducted, the executive team was able to identify a student speaker for commencement. We had a surprising number of applicants who were interested in speaking in front of thousands of people to share their journey here. This is a good example of how student engagement has increased incredibly between fall and now. Along these same lines, Grad Fair was held yesterday. There were 219 participants, which was a massive turnout on its own, but especially compared to last year's 58. Yeah, I'm glad to say that it lived up to its name by being more than just a cap and gown decoration event. Approximately 70 students took advantage of the opportunity to get professional headshots. There are more who wanted to, but we had to let the photographer go after the time they were booked for came to a close. There was also a photo booth to make memories with friends, a chance to record video shoutouts to acknowledge those who showed us support along the way, a table where students could confirm that they were registered for commencement, another to learn about the BAS programs here at Highline, and a final one to hear about how we could stay engaged with the Highline community as alumni. As I have implied, I will be graduating this spring, so this is the final time you'll be hearing from me as the president of the Associated Students of Highline College. I appreciate the personal feedback I've received, the collaboration with my team, and the opportunities to speak, to lead, and most importantly, to advocate that I've gotten along the way. I've been blown away by all the grace and patience that I received from my supervisor, advisors, faculty, staff, and administrators, VPs, and interim president, Dr. Penn, as I learned the ropes. I've had a grand time working with all of you, and I hope we'll stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine. I just want to say that we have really appreciated your leadership and your voice here. You've always come just extremely prepared and spoken so articulately and eloquently on behalf of our students. So just want to extend a huge thank you and congratulations as well. Go ahead.
And Jasmine, on your way out, I'm just trying to figure out how I can get a quarter zip and an XL. Just, all right.
Yes, thank you so much. And can I actually just ask our two new student leaders as well, just stand up and share your name and what are you studying, if you wouldn't mind sharing with us? Is there a mic? Hold on. We'll get you a mic.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here. Thank you for having this opportunity for me to stand up and talk. And thank you for all the work you guys doing. And my name is Artem. I'm a Rising Star student. This is my first year in Highline, and I'm planning to study political science in future.
Love it.
Hello, everyone. First of all, my name is Ted Nender. Currently I am the vice president of the Associated Students of Highline College. I also want to shout out to Artem, who has been part of the SNA committee. He's been really helpful and engaged in the conversation. So I want to say that he truly deserves the role of the VP. I'm currently studying computer science, and I'm going to be studying for paralegal in probably next year too. So thank you for having me.
Wonderful. Thank you. And Jasmine, before the mic goes, can you just share where you're going next as well?
Yes, so I will be going to CWU to study computer science and also hopefully to get a certificate in cybersecurity, which means you will most likely still see me around. I did deliberately want to stay on campus because I really love the community here. Thank you.
Love it. Love it. congratulations again to all of you. We look forward to getting to know our new student leaders, and Jasmine, we're excited. We get to see you still roaming around here too. So thank you. Okay, did I get everybody? No, I didn't. Foundation, how could I forget? Where's Sharon? Okay, there you are. Go ahead.
Noticeably in the corner. Congratulations, Jasmine. I was just going to ask you to personally introduce me to your leaders, which you just did though, but because I would like to pay them so they don't speak as well as you, because following you all this year has been, you're so fantastic. As Sharmila said, you're so well spoken and articulate, but I'll try. I'm just, now hearing you both, I don't have enough money, so. Well, I too would be remiss if I didn't say something about Dr. Mosby, but I'm afraid that if I was to go into any detail, there would be so many pools of tears on this floor that we would have to bring in a mop. So from his thesis statement that I read, his college thesis statement that I read when I first arrived here a few years ago, seeing that he had such focus on helping bridge the gap between the African-American young people, that especially males, that have a lack of leadership in their home life, and trying to get them into education, to his great promotion and his real dedication to helping women in higher education become leaders. Those are two things that really stand out to me, but if I was to get into my personal exchanges, like I said, it would be too emotional, and I won't do that. So on to the foundation report today. Great news about the scholarships. 676 students applied this year. That is the most we've seen, significantly higher than in several years. So now our lead of the scholarships, Tanisha Williams, is busily working with all the reviewers to get the reviews to be completed in time so we can get our awards to the students in time for them to register for fall quarter. So we're really excited about that. In other good news, just last night, the Seroptimists here are supporting our women's programs, often with emergency funding and scholarships and all sorts of things. But at their annual awards ceremony just last night, our women's programs, led by Director Tina No, showed up with a good group of supporters at the event. And our recipients, 3 out of 4 of the top scholarship recipients, were our own Highline College students, and a total of 6 were honored. This is especially significant because the pool was much more competitive this year, and it draws from all around Southwest King County, not just Highline. And next, our annual Legends Luncheon went well last week, where we changed it up a bit this year with adding some new attendees. We added some supporters and special donors to join and engage with the retirees. We think this really worked out well, as it still was a reunion for many, but we were also working on planting seeds for hopeful growth and collaborating relationships with retirees and people that are currently on campus and support our community. And our experiences from Thunderbirds Soar, our donors and supporters that come to that wonderful annual event and sign up for different experiences have continued. We had a few events in the last couple of weeks. Highline Heritage Museum, the Mast hosted things. Of course, Josh, his famous barbecue on the deck. And we had pickleball lessons last Sunday. So it was a busy month for all of those activities, and there are still many to come, including the sailing on Lake Union that is promoted and sponsored by one of our own faculty, Nikolai. And also we have a visit to sit in on the G and Ursula show for Cairo Radio that's coming up as well. So those are still going on all summer. And now, right after we leave this room today, we will be moving to the new beautiful Circle Highline College entrance off Pacific Highway and College Way, where we will be supporting the filming of a first-time TV commercial with our partners at Cairo TV's Telemundo station. This will include a special focus, of course, with our Spanish-speaking students and community, and starring our newest Board of Trustee, Lorraine Chachere. So super excited. So on your way out, no donuts or racing in the parking lot. Dave Menke's on the job. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And thank you to our budding film star here from the board. We appreciate the work that's being done to support our students, of course, and to also let people know about this amazing institution that we have. Okay, we are going to move into area reports. Start with academic affairs. Dr. Zanu.
Thank you, Board Chair. So this morning I woke up thinking about my ancestors. May is in honor of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, Pacific Islander Month, and really thinking about the ancestors who came before me, those who who are here. I did write a little bit about that in my report, but I do want to frame that because Dr. Mosby did see me as an AAPI and knew that my leadership and the intersections of my leadership when I was still at Green River and when he lured me back to home was really profound, I think, for me. I wasn't able to know him, when he first came here, but to know him towards the end, yeah, that was a lot. To know him as a person, a human, and for him to see me and to believe in me in the role that I came in during this time and period at Highline College. So I was looking back at some of the text messages. He's like, "Girl, you're quite popular. Welcome back home." I'm like, "Okay, Dr. Mosby, all right." So it was, yeah. So just really, he's an ancestor now. So I lift him up. Thank you, Dr. Mosby, for believing in me and for having me here at Highline College. I do want to recognize what Dr. Avila Castro stated, what Dr. Sangha talked about. After my report was written, we have so many things going on in academic affairs, including a lot of work that we have to move our faculty out of Building 18 because of mold. So I want to thank Gayatri Sarohi for her leadership and her advocacy for faculty during this time period. And then also a thank you to Doug for the work that we're working on regarding AI. I'm just thinking about what it would be like to be in the classroom now and what that is with all of the nuances that's happening federally, statewide, et cetera. So yeah, I'm in this hard work with you all. And then on top of that, last week, our AADTA, which is our largest degree that the community colleges confer, is changing. So I'm in for the journey with regard to the things that we need to do at Highline College. So to end, I just wanted to read off my last paragraph in honor of Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander Heritage Month. I would like to extend my deepest gratitude and appreciation to our colleagues who identify as AA and HPI. Highline's ongoing commitment to equity, access, and service to our communities has shaped many over the years through the leadership and dedication to colleagues such as Associate Dean Jerry Ventura and faculty member Teresa Matsumoto Maxfield, who recently facilitated the May 1 EDI Day Asian American and Pacific Islander affinity groups, along with the valuable contributions of dear colleague and friend, former division chair Lonnie Kaneko. I don't know if you know, but that book that's out there, the monument, the little book, Lonnie Kaneko's words are on there. He's long since passed since then, and as well as former Highline College board member Sili Savusa, who was really impactful to me in my leadership here at Highline back then, along with the many others across our college community who identify with this heritage. Their advocacy, relationship-centered leadership, and deep commitment to our diverse South King County communities continue to create more inclusive and affirming spaces where our AA and HPI students can see themselves reflected, supported, empowered, and welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. Any questions? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on to our administrative services, and we have Marco Lopez standing in for Dr. Pham. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Our report stands as submitted by Vice President Pham, but I do want to add a few things. So that Aaron, Jasmine, and two, great job this year. So it was a pleasure working with all of you. So thank you for all the work you did. I also want to recognize David Menke, Francesca, and their team. I think public safety has done a great job. It's just not an easy job, and sometimes we don't recognize it as it is, but thank you for all the work. And I want to provide an update on the bookstore. We are working on finalizing the contract with Follett. Follett will be the company that will be running the bookstore. They currently run about 10 bookstores here in the state of Washington. We have been working with them for the past few weeks. We already had meetings with instruction cabinet, with the faculty admins, with the bookstore staff, communication with facilities and our ITS department. And there's still more meetings that we have to schedule with other areas. We are looking at having the transition fully completed by the end of July. The contract will probably be finalized in the next couple of weeks, and official communication will go out to the whole campus once that is complete. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Any questions? Okay, we'll go on to equity, diversity, and transformation. Dr. Jimenez.
Thank you, Chair Swenson. And I also wanted to say thank you to the outgoing student leaders. It was just really inspirational to see how you advocated for the students at every level and created space for executive cabinet to connect with students multiple times throughout the year. So I just want to commend you on that. And congratulations to the incoming students. We look forward to continuing that work that you all started this year. And I can't speak about Dr. Mosby right now because it would be really hard for me, but I just want to say that this division was something that he really believed in. And I was honored to be selected by him to be the inaugural leader of this division. Which brings me to, I'm gonna let my report stand, but what I want to highlight is the HSI symposium that we hosted. It was so successful, and I bring that up because it was also like a big strategic institutional strategic direction that Dr. Mosby really believed in for us to understand that 40% of our students from Federal Way School District, Highline Public Schools, and Tequila School District, who are our #1 feeder districts, identify as Latino. So he had that vision of where we need to go as a college in order for us to be prepared to be a space for belonging for that community that we serve in South King County, along with all of our, all of the community that comes to Highline. And so I want to highlight that because we had the honor of hosting the second annual HSI symposium that was statewide. We had over 20 colleges come. And I want to thank Trustee Bowman, who came and was really helpful and supportive and was able to say welcome the college community across the state. And we also had our partners from those colleges, specifically their mariachi, come and perform at the HSI symposium. So I just feel like because of Dr. Mosby, we started a trajectory and we're on our way to fulfill that vision that he had. So I'll just let it stand. Thanks.
Thank you for that. Okay, we'll go on to human resources, and we have will you introduce yourself? I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name earlier.
So my name is Mary Nganga. I am sitting in for VP of HR, Melanie Lawson. And congratulations to the students that presented today and all the Highline students that are graduating, getting ready to graduate. Actually, that's why Melanie is out. She's preparing for her own little one's graduation. So for the HR report, it will stand as is. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Information Technology Services, Tim.
Hey everyone, sorry, sitting at home a little bit, recovering from some illness. I'm mainly going to let my report stand. There are a few words about Dr. Mosby in the ITS report, and I will let those stand today. I will add one thing, and I promised an update if we had one on the Canvas incident from a couple of weeks ago. And while we don't have anything specific, we do have a promise of a specific update of how Highline was affected by the end of today. So as soon as that information is communicated by Canvas, we will be reviewing that and taking any other further actions we need to take. And then I'll let things stand at that, unless there are any questions.
Any questions? Okay, thank you, Tim. And if you could just make a note to share that next month for us as well, I think we would love to make sure that we understand that as well.
For sure.
Okay, institutional advancement.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. I think about this time of year, and I think about many conversations with Dr. Mosby. We used to call this the sprint to commencement, and how every day there's like 2 to 3 different activities that we'll try to be at one time. Tonight, the Pure and Applied Sciences Division has their annual award ceremony. I know the Student Legacy Awards are coming up. We heard about the Achieve capstone that same night. The Education Department has their capstone. So those are, just come to campus any day, and you can see students celebrating and exciting things going on. When we got the news about Dr. Mosby that day, I did make time to make some phone calls, and a couple of those calls were to that gentleman right there standing up, Mahad Dahir, and to another past president, Muhammad Jama, because I think that those are two young men who represented that opportunity that Dr. Mosby meant for this college, and for them to become student body presidents, and then to see Jasmine here today. That's the future of this community. And so we can, the best we can do is to honor Dr. Mosby's legacy by continuing to support this leadership development and the growth. And it's just so exciting to be part of. And finally, of course, this report stands as submitted, but our communications and marketing team is doing some really great work. In our report, I do link to all of our social media channels. Feel free to, again, click on those on a regular basis, because there's just every day they're capturing what's happening on this campus. And then I want to reiterate what Sharon talked about. We had an opportunity with Telemundo to do a series of ads. I think it's 96 ads that we're going to have shown throughout the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup, on Spanish language broadcast in the greater Seattle area. And so the team has produced an ad that will be in Espanol, but this will be part of a bigger feature segment that they're working on. So thank you, Trustee Chachere. And anybody else that wants to join us at 12:30 out by the Highline sign at the traffic circle, you're welcome to join us, to be part of the cheering folks in the background, and to be part of this one way that Highline will be tied to the FIFA World Cup. So yeah, congratulations, everybody, and thanks so much.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, Student Services, Tony Garcia.
Hey, thank you very much. Just want to thank Izzy and her team for creating some wonderful leaders. I've had a great opportunity of them stopping by the office every day. I told them, I'll make you a desk, just come on in. Probably more than likely they'll end up working for us, so it's a good start, right? So great job to y'all. Did a great job representing the student body. My report will stand as is, but I do want to share a little story with Dr. Mosby. And when I did take the job here, I did post on LinkedIn because, we have to boast about ourselves and what we do. And a lot of my friends that I have in California right away just said, you're going to work with Mosby, you're going to work with Mosby. And I had no idea what they were talking about, but they reached out and told me a little bit about him. And when I finally got to meet the man, he knew so much more about me than I knew about him. He took time out to research and find out about me. We were in San Diego around the same time, and we knew a lot of the same people. And he was just asking me about the different people there and my role with Trio. And he was just a spectacular man, I think. And I wish I would have had some more time to spend with him and learn from him. But that's the kind of man he was, I think. So I'm thankful for the few times that we did get to meet. But that's it. Report stands. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Okay, we'll go ahead and close our area reports and move on to our interim president's remark.
Thank you, Chair Swenson and members of the board. Good afternoon, everyone. I have several things that I want to share with you. Some of you, there's a benefit to going last, right? Because some of you have already touched upon. And so I do want to thank you, Dr. Zanu, for recognizing the AAHMPI Heritage Month. I did have some words that I wanted to share with regard, but I think you did so much better in honoring, and I just want to make sure that I too recognize and say as much. To our students, I mean, everyone keeps repeating it, but congratulations to you and thank you for all of the dynamic leadership and just professionalism. You're already doing the work that you think you're going to be doing in the future. You're doing it in the here and now. And I and we are so very proud of you and thank you for your presence in the here and now. And we're expecting some really even more dynamic things from you in the future. So thank you so much. Let's see, George is here. Sheena left, but I want to talk about the training that executive leadership had with WPEA around collective bargaining. And there was mention of that. I think that's new. Where it's a transformational type of strategy that we're using, and we're getting ready to step into bargaining. And I think that training, the collective bargaining training that we went through together collaboratively, will set the foundation for some collaborative engagement moving forward. And we're looking forward to that and hearing from the executive team as you all are engaging. So thank you for that opportunity. And I would like to acknowledge that we are moving into Memorial Day weekend, and a lot of people think about, this is the offset of summer, crossing the line, the sun's going to be out and great things. But I also want us to pause for a moment and make sure that we recognize our service community, our service persons, and the sacrifices and support that they offer to our country. And I hope that at some point throughout the next couple of days that you'll pause for a moment and recognize that as well. I know that Kendall sent out a message yesterday indicating that the flags will be out, and even if you're walking through the community and you want to pause and take a look, or maybe stop by our Veterans Center and ask Kendall or students that are in that program a little about themselves. And I think that would be quite beautiful. So I offer that to you as well. In my board report, I have information about Dr. Mosby, so I'm not going to talk deeply about him today. I would encourage you to take a look at that. I will say that, and I do know that Marco will be away from campus next week. Marco and I will both be attending Dr. Mosby's funeral. And I'm doing that because I want to, because he was such a dynamic person, and for me personally, a great mentor. He was my boss, but a great mentor, and a friend who could share the tea with me from time to time. And so I'm going for that reason primarily, but I am also going to share a lot of what you articulated here today, and that I've heard from the presidents and the chancellors and others around the community, to the degree or extent that I can, and I have opportunity to do so. I will share that with his family and his friends there, so you can count on that. Wow, I have a hard time even talking about Dr. Mosby in the past tense, and so just know that, as you all know, we'll hold him up in high esteem, and if his family have any messages that they would like for me to convey back to the community, I will make sure to do that. Okay. Give me a moment, please. Sorry, y'all. The next thing that I have is a bit weighty as well. There was a very, very awful situation that happened at the University of Washington. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge that deeply troubling event involving a transgender student. That student is 19-year-old Juniper Blessing. Juniper attended the University of Washington. Juniper was fatally stabbed. Suspect has been charged. What happened to Juniper is horrifying, and our thoughts are with the student, their loved ones, and all of those impacted by the act. At its core, this is about the safety and dignity of a member of our broader college community in Washington State. And every student deserves to feel safe, respected, and supported without exception. We all, students, but we all do. And when senseless acts like this are violated or happen and our safety is violated, it affects not only one individual, but the trust and well-being of our entire community. So I'd like to say that we stand firmly against violence, harassment, and intimidation in any form here at Highline College. We also recognize that moments like this require us to listen carefully, offer support, and ensure that students know there are resources and people who care about their well-being. So while, with regard to this particular case, while details continue to emerge, our focus remains on compassion, support, and reinforcing the values that define us as an institution. That we care for one another, we are accountable to one another, and we have respect at the core of what we do. So I'd like to round out by saying we hold Juniper Blessing in our thoughts, and we reaffirm our commitment to campus community where everyone can learn and live without fear. That's so important and significant. So, my goodness, I'm a mess. And with that, Chair Switchell, I close my report. Thank you.
For that. And we so appreciate your comments, in particular about the care that we have for our students and the respect that every single person, our students, and every single person equally deserves. So thank you. Also, just want to say thank you for acknowledging AAHMPI and Memorial Day. We appreciate your words on these two remembrances and certainly echo that from the board perspective as well. So we're moving on to unscheduled business. I just have one note to share here, and then I'll open it up to anybody else from the trustees board that has anything else. And wanted to just share that the work around the presidential search is continuing. The search subcommittee, which consists of myself, VP Lawson, Dr. Menez, and Trustee Bowman, went through a very thorough review and vetting process to identify a consultant that will help us in the search process. The consultant is currently being onboarded and is advising us on organizing a process around the search committee selection. This will be a group that comes together to help us through this process and make sure that we're reflecting our campus needs and values throughout, and then as well as helping us on the campus feedback process to help inform the search. They are planning to be on site in June to conduct some in-person conversations, and there'll be opportunities for the campus to give feedback and weigh in on the direction and leadership qualities that we hope to see in our next leader. So I just wanted to let you know that that work is ongoing, and open it up now to any other unscheduled business that we need to discuss from anyone. Okay, seeing none, I'll go ahead and bring the meeting to a close. The meeting is adjourned.